Welcome to the Accounting Technology Fireside Chat podcast. Now, sit back and enjoy while Nick and Trevor help you use your technology to make money and delight your clients.
Well, hello and welcome back to the Accounting Technology Fireside Chat podcast. Hello, Trevor. How are you?
I'm very good, very good. Good as can be expected down here in Melbourne.
Oh, what's going on in Melbourne?
I don't know, it's we're all in lockdown doing our, doing our bits and pieces and trying to work out what the hell all this means. But anyway, we just do as we're told. We go and get vaccinated. And
have you been vaccinated yet?
No, I'm booked in. So I don't feel like going down to a hub and waiting 4 hours and stuff like that. So you book in through your doctor, and I think I'm another week away before I go.
Okay, cool. And how's it been? And working from home's a little different. I know you had a day in your new office, and then suddenly you're back from home.
Oh, I was so excited to get back into our new office, and it was I haven't been in my own office or had my own office for 10 years. So I've been working from home for 10 years on and off, and then for the last couple of years I've had a desk at Ashford's and those sort of things. And so to get the taste of it, I was so excited. I went into work on the Thursday, some ridiculous hour. I woke up and I was like, oh, this is so cool. I've got my office and I've put up all my little things and knickknacks behind me and those sort of things. But to have it taken away from me straight away was, pretty depressing. I can't think of how the rest of the partners of Ashford's are feeling about the amount of money they're spending on, they've just got it all going. They've spent all the money, get all the rent, and then they've got to not use it. It must be just so hard for them.
Yeah, no, it's super funky. It is what it is, right? Though, so it's all about protecting.
It is, we just don't. We're just trying to, you try and follow what's happened, and I'm not by no way am I able to do the COVID tracing or anything like that, but it's quite bizarre, frightening. I don't know the words. To me it's sort of like I'm a bit confused, bit disappointed that we've got to this point again, but we've just got to deal with it, and we've done it before and we just do it again. It's that process. We just you can feel everybody's a lot more dejected this time. Everybody's a bit, they're a bit upset that it's happened. You can really feel that in people's voices, and there's no JobKeeper now. Family. I've got family members that are either in beauty industry. Leonie works in the dental industry. They don't go to work. They don't get paid. That's that's pretty harsh, and it's pretty frightening for a lot of people out there in terms of being able to get any income at all. And if it goes on too long, you start to worry. You really start to worry about that. Well, I made a comment yesterday. Oh, it's all right. You guys have got the day off, and I've got to just bloody work.
That probably didn't go down so well. Well, this is the Accounting Technology Fireside Chat, so we don't make political comments, but I'll make one. Yeah. Right? At least you can be happy they spent all that money on a gas-fired power station.
Oh, yeah. That one. Really don't give a shit about that. But one thing I have noticed is, we're pretty strict, my wife and I work from home and I do those sort of things. But I've really noticed there's a little bit confusion, or it's a bit less strict. But there's a lot more people moving around than the last lockdown.
That's
we get our when you get your on the TV, they have the traffic reports. This time last year, they did the traffic report. There was nobody on the road. Not this time. There's traffic everywhere.
Well, I suppose it's because people are still allowed to work, right? So
that's the thing that they're saying. If you can work from home. But if you can't work from home, you can go into the office.
Yeah, which is strange, right?
So there's that definition is creating a bit of confusion.
Yeah, because last time you were all at home unless you had a specific exemption, right? And this time
that's right.
Everyone's confused.
But I think what they've done is I don't think a lot of people have picked up on that rule.
Right.
So, one of the businesses I was talking to, one of their staff doesn't have an internet at home for some reason. I don't know what that was. And they said, well, you can't therefore work from home. So come into the office. Their receptionist, they said, well, the receptionist duties can't be done from home. Come into the office. So I've got to look into it a bit more. I think they're just being a bit more like common sense approach, which is good. Which is good.
It is, but the more people you have moving around, the less effective your lockdown is. And the less effective your lockdown is, the longer it's going to be.
Yeah. And we look at it and it's all, I'm trying to, you look at where all the central points or whatever they are, the centers, where someone's been to, the tier ones and all that sort of stuff. And, they're delivery drivers. It's people delivering food to restaurants that have caught them out, not, and I suppose they don't do COVID testing on that, but at least they know where they've been.
Yeah, I suppose.
If you know what I mean, but you're going in there.
It leads me to a really interesting thought. I was thinking, when I worked at Microsoft in the turn of the millennium in the US, we were totally a non-open plan organization.
Yeah.
Right, so everyone had their own office, and it worked fairly well. And then but at that stage, everyone was kind of moving to this kind of open planny sort of world. Now we've had COVID, and everyone's worked from home in their own little spaces. Do you reckon that's the death of open plan?
Well, there's two parts to it. There's also the hot desks. There's the death of that because the infection control. People don't want to have hot desks. People want to have their own environment. So you've got that part of it has come into play. Whereas, you're exactly right. We went to Microsoft's head office in Sydney and they had hot desk, open plan. You can work in where you wanted to, those sort of things. That I thought that was pretty cool, and I remember at Hanson's we went no offices for partners, everybody in open plan. But I found that difficult if you had to have private conversations. I also found recently when I've been working at Ashford's, they've had open plan in their old office, and when we moved into the new office, a couple of people have said, cool, we can shut your door, you're so noisy, you're on the phone all the time. So I think you've got to look at people's roles and you've got to think about what they do all the time. So someone like me who is on the phone doing sales or training, 80% of my time I'm on phone calls. And the conversations are loud because you're trying to train someone. They're probably annoying when you're doing those sort of things, and you've got to consider that. I'm looking at you. You're in a booth or something, aren't you?
I'm in a little. So the office we were in, the shared office space, and they've got scattered around these little tiny phone boothy type rooms, which have they're acoustically treated, and they mean I can come and have a private. And I'm doing a podcast from here. I can have a private call. It's a nice place to sit and work and do stuff. And that means you don't get external audio interference when I'm trying to record my voice nicely as well.
Yeah. So that's different. A different concept. I suppose, you've got to balance it out, isn't it? You've got to, the world was, hey, everybody can be in an open plan. Let's work on that. Then and remember, what was the shared office place you used in Sydney? The really good one that was good in Pitt Street or whatever that was on down. Have I lost you? Oh no.
Oh, I'm back. Sorry about that. That was exciting. Yes, we had
that was exciting. Where was the office that you were in, the shared office space that you were in?
Where in is
Sydney?
It?
Where was the one that the one that we used with Hub One?
Oh, WeWork.
WeWork was a great layout like that. They had, I think that was really effective. They had really good different spaces. People, there was a bit of a drive. I remember you and Lauren used to share, try and fight for a little corner desk if you had a day where you were working on something together, had the coffee, but you had those little booths to work in. That was a bit of a drive. I look at the way that Ashford's have laid out. A couple of things I really noticed on that was all the offices are internal. and all the workstations are on the outside. So the wind, natural light, and all that is coming through. So the officers aren't stealing all the natural light. I thought that was a really good step.
That's a good idea.
They've also
I
got
hate
a
natural
quite a.
light, by the way.
Do you?
Yeah, you can't stand the bloody thing.
Dracula. That's it. Yeah, past
Mucks up my
past
screen.
many lives ago. But they also have around the office little spaces like where you're in now. So little offices that people can go into, do phone calls, all that if they're in an open plan and don't have their own area. So
Yeah.
I found my one day of working in an office very productive. I found it, and it was enjoyable. We also Teams rooms has been set up in there. That was amazing. You know, I got a 2 sessions to run on Teams rooms, and the way that's worked out, they've got every office has got not an iPad, but some sort of Android tablet on the front telling you, and it's all linked to Teams rooms, linked to everybody calendar, telling you who's in there, where it's at. You can extend your time and all of those sort of things.
Talking of that, this week's cool feature in Teams is Teams webinars.
Ah, very good. So they've moved from live events to webinars. Thank you, Nick.
Live events are still there, but what webinars allow you to do is create a registration page. So people can actually come and register and then access it using the registration. And then you run it basically like a standard Teams call, but you can decide if they can turn their camera on, yes or no, can they have the mic on, yes or no.
Yeah, and you can control all of that as the presenter.
Yep.
Very cool. Very cool.
So we just in Teams, you go new webinar and off you go.
Yeah. Everybody still leans towards Zoom meetings. They've got that market with that terminology, which drives me a bit.
Well, here's something I found that was really interesting. You know, there's 150 million people a day use Teams.
Yep.
Right? And 125 million of those are paid Teams customers. Right? 225 million people use Zoom. 13 million of them are paid Zoom customers.
But when they're a paid Teams customer, they've got Office 365, which comes with Teams. Yeah, and that's fair enough. But you know, the people who don't pay for their Zoom meeting, what is it, 40 minutes or something?
It's 45 minutes and it cuts you off and all sorts of limitations.
Yeah, all these other bits and pieces, which is So let's get back to it. So an office, right? An office layout. What do you think? Do you think an office layout? Do you like where you're working at now? Do you think it's productive to have offices for senior people? What are your thoughts?
It's kind of a mixture of stuff, and there's times you want to be collaborative, and there's times you don't. Right, so I'm constantly trying to find the best noise cancelling headphones to keep everybody out of my day when I'm trying to get work done. There's also times I want to collaborate. So it's really hard, right? There's a real mixture to it. However, the most productive I've ever been, ever, is either working from home or when I have my own office and the rest of my team are disciplined enough to use the tools effectively. So when I started in 2000 at Microsoft, we had MSN Messenger. Gave you presents, allowed you to send instant messages, blah, blah, blah. That then expanded into links, Skype for Business, which is blah, blah, blah. You know, this, I won't tell you the history. But if you've got a disciplined enough team who use things like Teams chat in the right way to communicate with each other, you can be hyper effective that way, right? I think if you think of, it's the type of work you do. If you do work which requires you to concentrate for a period, like 15 minutes or half an hour to get something done, if somebody turns over and disturbs you, it takes you an hour to do what would have taken half an hour. So that can be really hard. So those times you need to be do not disturb. Other times you want to collaborate with people, but if you're collaborating with them, are you actually breaking their flow as well and stopping them doing things? So I'd actually say an open plan office probably halves the productivity of your team. Right? Yeah. Maybe quarters it. Maybe it's worse than that. I reckon if you were, because you're doing accounting work, right? There's a whole bunch of sitting there focusing, doing stuff. You know, there's a bit of collaboration, but not that much. So no. You might be better with individual offices for everybody. You might find that gives you more productivity.
But then there's the balancing act of cost versus
Yep.
Those sort of things. And then so, when people do need to have quiet time, you're exactly right. Having presence and, the headphones on, that they've got to work and they're going to get those done. So quiet time or focus time and those sort of things are really important. But for me, the big change, the biggest message I got was how noisy I am.
Yeah.
And how
So it's
when I'm
obvious
on the phone.
you've been disturbing everybody without even knowing it, and they didn't want to tell you.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. And, they've all come and they shut my door. And, for one day I'm in there and my door got shut about 3 or 4 times and all of that. I'm going, open door policy. Doesn't everybody want to know what I'm doing? And they don't want to know what I'm
Yeah.
doing. And,
So I walk
it's,
around the office with my Plantronics headset on, having loud phone conversations, disturbing everybody. And I've got to walk off and find myself a little room or hide in one of these booths or all sorts of things. The next thing is when you're trying to do it, we have people who are in or not in, or people who are in other countries. You try and do a Teams call and another person on the call is sitting next to you. It's a
yeah.
nightmare.
Well, that's your other thing, isn't it? They haven't even, that's another problem that comes with that. I watch them. So they have their huddles, and at Ashford's, probably 50% of their people are going to be away working from home now.
Mm-hmm.
So they have got you can work 2 days from home, 3 days at work, those sort of things. So they've got more and more people at home. It's amazing that I was talking to one of the girls. I didn't realize she lives in Geelong and works with Ashford's, and comes in one day a week. She does that, ties that in to go see her family in Melbourne, and works from Geelong. So, COVID has broadened it's made us look at it differently. Exactly how you open this up now. COVID has said, as we move now, we've gone, all right, hang on, we were open plan, we were collaborative. We've found a big difference being working from home and having that quiet time. We've then we've also got to consider hot desking is pretty much out because of the, you've got to have worry about infection control and all of those sort of things. Less people in the office is an important thing. So they're allowing people to work from home so that there's probably the capacity levels are only about 60% at any one time. Team meetings. So running our big event. How are we going to do that when we run our monthly team meeting? Everybody wants to get up and tell everybody about it.
Teams rooms.
We're using Teams rooms, exactly. Yeah. So it's going in. We're going to have it set up. The directors they're going to have an area where if whoever's in the office is talking, that's going to be recorded and published, globally, and then also, but those who are in the office can go in there and be in the audience if you want to say. Within the room as well. So that you get the best of both worlds. So just a different, we've hit now, and it's come through, and we're a very different approach. And now we're back in lockdown. No one's in the office, and we're just, I'm just watching something. There's, we've got to, we've got to get access to some, MyOb partner disks. So we can get access to a client's file, and I haven't had to deal with that for a while. And I've got to work out how I can get access to those disks because MyOb don't publish. It's anyway. I'm not going to go into that today, but can't get out. I'm actually thinking one of us has to go into the office today.
Wow.
Yeah, can't. We've tried all yesterday to get round the whole thing. So. It's an interesting world we live in. Offices, investment in offices. When I started out, I thought, well, how much money are we spending on an office that we've used for one day? It's
crazy.
It's frightening. And we talked the other week. How we talked the other week about having the disaster recovery centres.
Mm-hmm.
And I went. Just by coincidence, I had to be in Mulgrave, and the one that used to be there, and I said, Leonie was pointing out, she said, oh, that's where Matthew used to work at Selmat. I said, oh, well, that was I was talking to Nick about that the other day. That was the ANZ Recovery Centre, where the ANZ Bank had a complete building set up with everything. So the amount of money that was spent on footprint and so forth was massive.
But now we're in a position where effectively probably everyone could work from home. You don't need that anymore.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I still think there's a need to be face to face. You've got to be in the office. There's got to be some interaction. Well, you and I work together and haven't seen each other for 2 years, I think. But
Yeah, there you go.
but you did fly down to Melbourne the other week,
and I still didn't see you. My lead developer I haven't seen for 4 years now, or something
No, I
crazy
haven't
like
seen.
that.
Yeah, longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't want to see him anyway, but that's okay.
Oh, well, he's watching this probably.
I know.
You're an arse, Trevor. Or
I
something.
did it on purpose, Sorry, Laurie. But yeah, that's well, technology was dragging us into the future.
Mm-hmm.
We were getting dragged along. COVID basically forced us to go there.
Yeah.
It had a massive impact on Ashford's.
But I think if you people get really disciplined and you go, okay, I've got to do some focus work now. I'm going to bunch it all up, and on Wednesday, Thursday, I'll work from home and just do my focus work, and then be back collaborative in the office. I think you might find productivity that way. The problem is where your directors try and impose stupid rules. Like everybody whose name starts with a vowel needs to work in the office on a Wednesday or stuff like that. You've got to give the flexibility. Got to trust yourself to do the right thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Everybody can do whatever they want. I think they were trying to work it out because everybody didn't want to work on a Monday. That's that discipline again from the employee saying, "Well, hang on, there's a reason you don't want to work on a Monday. You're trying to make your weekends longer and be working from home. So is Wednesday your better day to do that? And I suppose that's that trusting thing. And then we've got to trust people to do the right thing.
Yeah, you do. And just because they're there and at their desk doesn't mean they're being productive.
No, well, yeah, I agree. What about you? What are your thoughts on like a productive day? Like if you're thinking about you go into the office. So one of the things that I thought was when you go into the office, I find that there are a lot of distractions in the office. So if you look at if you said, okay, I'm expecting you to be in the office for 8 hours, right? But realistically, you would expect that you would get 6 hours work. Realistically. So then they're working from home. And what I did see when people were working from home a lot, because it's such intense work, I don't know, I found that I was really burning out throughout the day because there was no social interaction. There was nothing like that. And then it's like bang, 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 bang. 5 o'clock, I'm exhausted, like I'm like.
Yeah, so I work at home, I work different hours to the hours I work at work. So I would tend to, if I'm working from home, I tend to get up around 4 or 5 and start work then. And basically that would be my focus time till about 11, 12.
Yeah.
Right. Then I stop and have lunch, and the afternoon would be my online meetings. So I wouldn't do I had no online meetings in the morning, none at all.
Nothing.
Absolutely
Yeah.
Clear that air so I can actually get my stuff done. So then you go and have lunch, and you chill out, and then you sit there doing your online meetings. You know what? If you're not 100% focused, whatever. But you've got the core bits of your work done. I find now, because we're in the office, everybody wants to set meetings at every time of the day. I lose that big block of focus.
Right.
So I'm not getting some of my deliverables done. Because some things I have to do take 4 or 5 hours of solid work to make happen.
And travel time and traffic time is that's you lose that. There's half an hour each way minimum.
Well, I'm an hour each way to get in, so that's 2 hours out the day gone.
So how many days a week do you work from home?
Not many at the moment. Because I've got some new hires, so I'm spending time with them.
So that impacts as well. So new people coming on board also impacts on whether you come into the office or not, and can they, you need to grab them. I had last year we had a trainee we put on, and I got interviewed it was a pilot program through MEGT. So someone from a government survey company called me yesterday to talk to me about the success of it, and we went through the whole process. And the trainee was put on during COVID. I actually never met her in person for 3 months.
Wow.
It was, and no different. She was a bit shorter than I thought she was, but that's bad.
It's always the same.
That's the weird thing that I'm finding is I'm doing all these online, like I had, and then when you meet them in person, you go, oh, you're a bit shorter than I thought you
were. Are they always shorter, or sometimes are they taller?
No, always shorter.
Oh, sure. That's funny, isn't it?
Yeah. If they're taller, then they're probably what I thought they were. But I don't know. I must look at people and think on a screen that they're taller than they actually are. It happens in the movies too, doesn't it? Like Tom Cruise is tiny.
Yeah, he is. But it's probably also if they're using. It's like if you're using the camera, which I'm doing on my device here. If I actually jump down a little bit, I get a better angle to it. But normally you're looking up at me, so you think I'm taller.
Yeah, but I know you're not.
Yeah, it's un-Australian. Must stop. All right, my man. I reckon that does this fireside chat.
That does it. Hey, next week, let's talk about the other COVID breaker thing that's ramp things up is digital signatures. Let's have a chat about those, because we have spent 10 years mucking around in this digital signature space, and I still don't think it's sorted yet. I think there's things that we need to work on. So let's have a chat, maybe do a bit of research, see what's out there, come up with a list of...
Goodness, researching for the Accounting Technology Fireside
Chat. Yeah, let's do a bit of research and find out how many there are out there, because there are a lot, and maybe we get some feedback for people. All right, any digital signature companies want to sponsor our event, feel free. They can take it over.
They certainly can. I might reach out to a couple. All right. Thanks, Trev. That's been awesome. Okay. And by the way, if you do like what you've heard, please subscribe. Leave a comment if you'd like us to chat about something that you're interested in. This has been the Accounting Technology Fireside Chat. You have a fantastic day. See ya.
You too. See ya.